strong am I with the Force.
Hello and welcome to the Gravel Road, my channel all about cycling. This video is part of a series about intermittent fasting, and this particular video is about me going through 7 days of doing intermittent fasting, how I typically do it, just if I was to do it every day. Generally I do intermittent fasting most of the time, but it can be, some days I do it and some days I don't. So maybe in a given week I might do it 4 or 5 days, and then other days I'll have a breakfast, have a bacon roll or whatever it might be. But this week I'm going to do 7 days of intermittent fasting, just how I normally do it, just to see what I do throughout the day, and sort of to show you how easy it is, I guess, once you get to doing it properly. And also just to go through sort of how it works practically in terms of when you eat and when you don't eat, and going to work and training and all that kind of stuff, just how you practically do intermittent fasting over a week and slot it around your busy life. So this is actually Monday the 8th of November. Although this is day one of my fast, the actual fasting, if you like, started last night. So Sunday the 7th, the last time I ate was about 10 p.m. So that's the start of the fast there, 10 p.m. So we're now at almost 9 o'clock. I woke up around about 8 o'clock. First thing I do is have some water. That's key. Every time even during the night when I get up, if I maybe get up and I go to the toilet, I always have a little drink of water, because I find that just saves you waking up in the morning feeling empty or anything like that. It's always a good practice to replace fluids, I would say, and that goes for whether you're just going about your daily life or training or anything like that. So first thing I do is chug a big cup of water, probably in the region of about 400 ml, something like that, and that just kicks the day off with some fluid. And that's probably one of the most important things, is as soon as you wake up, you go to the bathroom, have a cup available and drink a bunch of water. And during the night, drink not too much water, just drink a little bit of water through the night. Every time you get up, just have a little sip of water, maybe out the tap, and that'll just help with your fasting when you wake up in the morning. So one little tip that will make intermittent fasting a lot easier is, obviously you've got to drink a lot of water and fluids, so make sure you've got a cup or cups in your bathrooms and stuff, so that if you want to have a quick drink, you don't have to go down to the kitchen and think about it. You just have a cup sitting out, and I always have my Lego Emmet cup or my Lord Business cup if this one's in the wash, and that way I can just quickly scoop up a cup of water. Don't have to think about it. Just whoosh. That's the key thing. It's just every time you get a chance, just scoop some water. So, like I said, my fast started at 10 p.m. last night, so I'll be looking to go to at least 2 p.m. today, so that'll give me 16 hours. But ideal, I'll go a little bit beyond that, but the minimum for me to count it as a proper day of fasting really is 16 hours. So 16 hours fasting, and then I'll have 8 hours in which I eat. So if I do start at 2 p.m., shall I say, so if I do start at 2 p.m, for example, eating that is, then I can eat until about 10 p.m, and then the cycle repeats. And actually, when you're if you have the luxury and you're able to schedule it into your life, and you go to bed at at the same time, you eat at the same time every day, which a lot of people do, it's quite good actually to just set it out like that. So you know that at 10 p.m, I'm going to stop eating, that's going to be the last time I eat, and at 2 p.m. I'm going to start eating again. That's just super simple, but the way I kind of do it is I just adjust it slightly to suit my life. So if I was to push it out to say 3 p.m. today, I might then be staying up a bit later, for example, and I might eat at the last meal might be 11, and I'll just tweak it as the days go. But what I'll try and do this week is just stick to the 10 and 2 regime, or at least the 10 regime, and if I push it out beyond 2, that's a bonus. Before I head to work though, I need to make sure that I am packing some fluids, and this is another key part. Never leave the house. In fact, I never really go anywhere, even in the house, without having a drink near me. That can be water if you're so inclined and you can handle drinking water all day. But me personally, I like to have some flavour. I do drink water from time to time, but generally I drink like low/zero calorie juice. So what I typically drink is something like this. You can see this is Tesco's own stuff. This is not 0 calorie, but it's pretty much as close as you can get. It is 2 calories per 100 ml, and this is like double strength stuff, so you don't really need a lot to fill your juice bottle. So in a given day, you can have around about 20 calories to still be considered being in a fast. So if you work it out, you know, you can drink quite a lot of this stuff and not hit that 20 calories. So just make sure you're having plenty of fluids, and whether that's water, you know, black tea, green tea, anything like that, anything that's got basically no calories or doesn't get up to more than about 20 calories during the course of the day or thereabouts. Right, update on today's intermittent fasting. Didn't quite go to plan in terms of making videos because I had a busy day at work and some unexpected visitors, which meant I couldn't video things as I was going. But how did it go? So yeah, just drunk water or the flavoured water until about 11 o'clock. And that's roughly when I had my first coffee, which is like your first coffee during intermittent fasting, if you leave it a reasonable while, is brilliant. It's much better than just getting up and having a coffee, trust me. It's worth the wait, and it's kind of, psychologically, it's one of those things you're pushing out that time, but you know there's this little reward that you're gonna have your coffee, or maybe like a green tea or something with caffeine in it. It doesn't have to be coffee if that's not your thing. But I would definitely suggest, if you've never really gotten into coffee or not tried it too much, try it as part of intermittent fasting, because I was the same. I didn't like coffee at all, but I'd only ever had milky coffee, like crappy Nescafe and stuff. So I made a conscious decision that I was going to do the fasting, and when I was starting to feel a bit I would just down an espresso, because I knew, like, you know, even if I don't like it, I can down it. And first one I had was a bit like, whoa, but I got that hit, and then I think that connection was like, oh, that's quite good. And then as time went by, not long, like days and maybe a week, something like that, I really started getting into the coffee. And then over the years, I'm like totally into coffee. Like it's like drinking wine, you know. It's like, oh, this has got certain flavors, and there's nice ones and there's not so nice ones. But definitely try giving espressos a go, or even just like maybe like a mini Americano, almost like an espresso with a little bit of hot water in it. Let it go to a temperature where you can just down it. And that, even if you don't like coffee, I think you'll actually start to get into it, and it's a wonderful thing to be into, particularly if you're a cyclist. Because us cyclists love a coffee stop, and it's like, well, what's a coffee stop without a coffee? So give that a go. So anyway, I had my first coffee about 11, continued to drink fluids. So roughly speaking, I was drinking one of those half-litre, no, it's not half-litre, it's more like a litre, bottle probably go through one every couple of hours. I'm not really trying to drink a certain amount of fluid. I'm just keep it by my side every time. Just every now and again I have a sip, and I never really get to that point where I'm like, ooh, I'm like hungry, or I just keep sipping away. But if you are doing it and you start to feel a bit hungry and empty, before you go and eat something, have a reasonable drink of water or something like that, and just give it 5 to 10 minutes. There's a good chance that hunger pan will go away, because it's not necessarily, a lot of times hunger is wrongly thought to be hunger when it's actually you're thirsty or you're just a bit empty, and fluid water will take that away. You know, you can go much longer without food than you can without water, you know, if you're stuck in a desert or whatever. So think about it that way. You know, you can definitely go without food, but just keep the water intake going. And if you just have it sitting always with you, or you carry it around. You just get into the habit of opening it and wee sip, and you'll just never have that issue. I never have that problem now. So I carried that on. I think I had another coffee, maybe about 1 or something. I would normally wait a bit longer, but some people came in. I was just being a bit sociable, and I knew I was going to be eating about 2. I wasn't going to push it out because we were going out for lunch. So I think I ate about 5 to 2 or 10 to 2. So I got my 16 hours pretty much in. Had a nice lunch. You know, I didn't starve myself. I had went out and had like deep fried chicken with chips, like a healthy one, with a bit of salad and a drink. And I've had a cup of tea and that in the afternoon. So I'm fasting, but I'm not dieting. I'm just eating sort of normally. I'm just reducing that window, and that's what you need to do when you're first doing intermittent fasting. Is don't think about, I'm going to eat this or I'm going to eat that. You know, maybe differently prepared about what you're going to eat. Like, don't be like, oh, I'm hungry, what am I going to do? Have something to eat when it's time to eat, but don't think too hard about what you're going to eat. Just do what's easy, do what's natural. Get into the intermittent fasting and worry about what you're going to eat a bit later. And actually, like I've said before in the earlier videos, is you'll probably just naturally make better choices. You won't even have to think too much about, oh, I shouldn't eat this or shouldn't eat that. You will naturally make better choices. Just focus on the fasting, plenty of fluid, and getting some caffeine in if you can, and get to that point where you can regularly fast for 16 hours or maybe more. You'll definitely be able to do that, but get to the 16-8 and just get into that mode, and then the rest will come naturally. So where are we at just now? 10 to 6 at night. I had a cup of tea and a couple of biscuits and stuff in the afternoon. Gonna go home and get my supper or my dinner, my tea, whatever you want to call it, which is gonna be like a roast chicken sort of dinner. And then later on tonight, nearer 10 o'clock, I'll probably have something reasonably decent to eat. Like I typically have something like a high protein yogurt with I put some like cereal or Weetabix or something sort of solid in it, and a bit of honey. So nothing, not too light, but it's really filling. And that's a key thing as well. Before you go to your bed, don't have a little tiny snack. Have something decent before you go to bed. You should never go to bed hungry. And if you never go to bed hungry, you'll definitely never wake up hungry, that's for sure. So try and space your food out. So you break your fast, you have maybe your evening meal or your proper meal a bit later, and then have a reasonably big snack close to when you're gonna go to bed. And that's when your fast ends. So I'm gonna have that maybe 10 o'clock. I'll go to bed shortly after. I won't be sleeping until a bit later, but that'll be the last thing I eat. As soon as the last thing goes, you swallow the last mouthful, your fast begins at that point, your timing. So that's when you count your 16 hours from. So anyway, that's enough. I'm gonna crack on and go home, and maybe do a quick video just showing you what I'm eating and stuff, and just to illustrate that I'm not doing some super duper diet in the process of doing this, and we'll see what the impact on weight and things is as well. Right, see you later. 6:20, dinner time. Roast chicken dinner. Okay, so intermittent fasting day 1. What are we looking at here? We are at 20 to 11. So I was a bit late out on my bike ride, so my fast will probably actually start at about 11, not 10 o'clock. But that's cool. Been out and battered about on the bike, did just about 32 miles, put in some efforts, picked up at least 1 km. The other one I went for was blind, I didn't have it on my unit, so who knows, we'll find it when we get back. It's a mystery. But what a way to end, well, any day. Forget the day 1 of intermittent fasting. Out for a night ride, like 10 degrees, short sleeves. I've got a base layer underneath, but I'm roasting hot. Batting about in the night, doing my absolute favourite thing, night rides. Honestly, people, check out my other videos. Train and Ride 3, Red Bull time lapse. I talk about night rides. I'm not going to stop going on about them, because you have to give them a go, because they are just the best. It's literally like my biggest concern when I'm out on a night ride is if the police come past and they see how much fun I'm having, they might arrest me. Because they probably think I'm on drugs, swinging about, dancing to my music. I love to ride my bicycle, I love to ride my bike. I love to ride my bicycle, especially in the night. Big smile on my face. It should be illegal, but it's not. It's not illegal, folks. Get on your bikes and get out and ride about in the night. In the winter, in the summer, it's just too much fun. Honestly. Check out my other videos. Take my word for it. Just get out on your bike and enjoy the night, and increase, in the winter, you increase your capability to go out and ride immensely. Because how much daylight is there? What? I don't know. Maybe it gets light about 8, 9 o'clock, dark about 4, so looking at 8 hours or whatever. And guess what? Those are the hours you're at work, probably, like myself. So just flip it on its head. Work in the day, ride at night. You know it makes sense. So anyway, we'll get home, have something to eat. About 11, that's when I'll start my fast. So I'll go to at least 3 tomorrow. Might try and push out a bit. Depends how I get on at work and whether I've got visitors and what have you. I'll give it a bash, but yeah, nice and simple. So we'll oh yeah, I had my evening meal about back at 6 o'clock, I think. My chicken dinner was really nice. So yeah, like I said, I broke my fast with a lunch, had my evening meal, had some tea and biscuits in the afternoon. I've had a gel and some fluids on my bike, obviously. Go home, have a snack. God knows what the calories are. Doesn't matter, because this ain't a diet. This is intermittent fasting. Simples. Right, see you tomorrow for day 2. Remember folks, take it easy.